It's the intro. Good morning, everyone. Rise and shine, and thank you for joining us on this early Friday morning. Today is August 29th, 2025. I'm your host, Ellen Tibbetts-Hurst, and we have another great show lined up for you today. And today we have LaChelle Kisor Gibbs, and she is an educator, ministry leader, and mentor. And LaChelle holds a Bachelor of Science, a Master's, and an EDS in Childhood Education from Jacksonville State University. Go Gamecocks. Yes. She has served as a youth leader and Sunday school teacher and volunteered as a spokesperson for the Second Chance Domestic Violence Shelter. She comes to us today because this year, LaChelle founded House of Grace, a faith-based ministry dedicated to supporting unwed and young mothers, practical resources, and spiritual encouragement. She was inspired by her love for her daughter, Maddie, and granddaughter, Paisley. She is committed to building a safe, faith-filled community and equipping families for emotional and spiritual growth. So welcome, LaChelle.
Thank you, Ellen.
And thanks so much for coming today. And here on Rise and Shine with the Alabama Cares program, we have talked about subjects a lot lately that are tough to talk about. I always say that we're here to talk about and ask all the hard questions,
right,
because I try to bring all the education and resources I can for everything to our communities, because I think it's so important, right, for communities to come together and realize that you're not the only one out there, you're not the only one in the boat, that there's things out there that you can reach out to, right, to help. So another thing that's tough to talk about is teenage pregnancy, and it's no different, especially here in the South, because
right,
we're in the Bible Belt.
Right.
And I commend you, first of all, for your courage to do this.
Thank you.
I really commend you for that. So tell me your reason for starting House of Grace, your mission, and the why, and all that good stuff.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome.
We've known each other for a long time.
Yes, we've known each other for a little bit.
I don't consider myself a great public speaker, but I do appreciate you letting me come on and just share my heart. I think that's one thing you're talking about, it hard to talk about.
It is hard to talk about, yes.
It is. If I share my heart and I share my testimony, which has hope included, then maybe I can offer that to someone else.
Right.
So my daughter became pregnant at an early age. We were in the process of finding a local church, and no, there was not a local church that came and said you cannot attend with a pregnant teenage daughter.
Right.
My concern was the influence that we would have on the young people in the church,
right, the stigma. Yeah.
But more concerned about, would my walk in honoring my daughter and coming, soon to be granddaughter at that time, would that celebration cause someone else to stumble, and would I be like highlighting it and making it look glamorized,
like it was okay,
like it was okay? And God does not make mistakes.
I was about to say, I always say God never says oops.
Right. He does not. There's so many teens that are having sex, and so many of the teens that it does not lead to pregnancy. So the ones that it does lead to pregnancy, that's not an oops and that's not a mistake. But I did not, especially having been an educator and living in my community, I did not want to make anyone younger stumble. So this was not a church decision. This was a personal decision, right, to stay in the home and work with Maddie through the pregnancy in the grace of God. Years ago, raising my teenage boys, now they're in their 30s, the Lord showed me that we have grace walks, and that this is where we don't look like we're looking, seeking, trying to find God, but no matter where we go, He's always there. And the stigma of going to church, being pregnant in Alabama is tough. The statistics on that show that about 70 to 80% of the teens stop attending church because of yes. And I had multiple.
And that's when you want them in church. Really do. They're needing that guidance.
They are.
And they need God. They need that. That's when they really need it.
It is. And we went to Etowah County Pregnancy center, testing center, I think is the name, and they really supported me as a mom helping my daughter. And they tried to help Maddie realize that having a mom supportive is a big part of it. I think now she kind of understands that because Paisley's 2 months old, but at the time she was just listening. And
now that she has a daughter, she gets it kind of thing.
She kind of gets it, yes. And but you were talking about it being a time where you want the children in church.
Yeah.
That's the most important time. But here's our struggle too, is if they are young and they don't understand all of God's word, where do they fit in? If they go to the youth, will that cause another youth to think, hey, this is a good idea or something? And so they're not being ministered to a lot of times in a level that reaches them. So if they sit in the sanctuary, is it over their head? So where do they fit in? They've kind of lost that place in the church, I think. Now there are some churches that have a home, like a faith-based type ministry within the church and within the women's groups, from what I'm hearing. I've gotten some feedback. We've only been open about a month to the public. This has been ongoing in my home though for several months. So we're just kind of looking, we're finding out about local resources. When Maddie found out she was pregnant, I had to mourn the loss of what I had dreamed for her. She was young, and it was right before her 16th birthday. And I thought, what are we gonna do? And I told her, I said, what we're not going to do, we're not going to hide the pregnancy. And
it is what it is.
It is what it is, and even sometimes pregnancies don't completely go through the full cycle of 9 months, and then the delivery and a beautiful baby, but we're going to go ahead and acknowledge what has happened, what was consensual. In my opinion, there needs to be more education to the males on some of the laws of sexual activity engagement and some of the
I agree with you on that. I work with juvenile delinquents, so I was a juvenile probation officer for 11 years, so I get it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes. I agree with you on that.
Yes, it's tragic when, especially with the girls, they can appear to be older. And what would be so tragic as a mom of a daughter was if I was in a position where this could have ended up being a more serious issue.
Right.
I knew it was consensual. I supported both Mama and Daddy from the point of how would I want someone to treat my own son if this happened.
Right.
So that was my...
Because it could happen to anybody.
It really can. And I thought I had done everything I needed to do.
But at the end of the day, it's not the parents, it's the child's decisions that they make.
Right.
And I think that's with anything in life.
Well, and thank you for that point, because her being 15 to 16, there's certain things that I no longer can control.
Right.
I can do my very best to make sure that I've given her the guidelines and the formation, the legal consequences, the financial, the spiritual consequences,
right.
Other options, other alternatives, but in the end it comes to her choice.
Yes, because we were 15, 16,
right.
17 before.
Yes.
And I used to tell my juveniles that all the time too. At this point, what's right and wrong. You should already know all that. And so at the end of the day, the choices that you make, the choices of friends that you choose, the choices of boyfriends, of girlfriends, of all these things, it's your choice. At the end of the day, that's it, your parents can give you all the tools in the world, but at the end of the day, it's the choices that you make. And then on the other end of that, like you were saying too, legal responsibility too. Sometimes it's the girls that are, not your daughter. I'm not saying that because yours was your daughter and the father of the baby was consensual. And they both knew, but age-wise and everything. But there's a lot of girls that when I worked in the system, there were some girls that, girls are not always sugar and spice. I mean, sometimes they would wrangle the boy in and they, that kind of thing, and they'd end up getting pregnant. They were way younger, and the boy thought they were older, all these things. So I agree with you on that thing. So what is your mission statement? What is the main reason for House of Grace?
House of Grace. The main mission is to help nurture and provide education and community resources in a passion and a compassion of Jesus Christ. And we've got the House of Grace mission statement up there, and it's based in my home right now. It's dedicated to supporting unwed and young mothers with practical resources, spiritual encouragement, and a safe, welcoming environment.
Right, where they're not feeling, and I'm sure, you know, I always say, because when I worked with children, how, you know, these are still young children that are having children. Right. So they're needing nurturing, right, you know, mentally, emotionally, all those things, and plus the hormones, and oh my gosh, I can go on and on. But especially for a young girl, and I think that's wonderful. And like I said before, we're in the South, in the Bible Belt, and there's a lot of stigma, stereotype, all these kind of things. And there's so many things. Like I had someone on, Mr. Fred was on from the Community Foundation, was on during Mental Health Awareness Month, and he was talking about, from the spiritual side, about mental health and how a stigma from mental health and everything, and that how the communities, our religious communities, our spiritual communities need to be more informed, more educated, and be more open to all of these things, mental health issues. I mean, young mothers and boys that want, you know, that are having babies, you know, just because, you know, we're human. We're not, you know, you're supposed to go to church to be more like Jesus. If we were all like Jesus, we wouldn't have to go to church. Right.
Exactly. That's a good point.
So right quick, do you feel it is do you feel like it's taboo to talk about the subject sometimes from a religious standpoint?
It can be, and it can be an awkward conversation, sort of like addressing the elephant in the room, as people say. God has given me a boldness similar to what I relate to as Queen Esther in the Bible, to speak up on behalf of a gap that I see.
And what are some challenges and first steps that you had to take to begin with?
Well, at first, everyone kind of shrinks back, and you feel like you're in this journey alone. And then I just reached out to the Etowah County Testing Pregnancy Center. I may have that worded backwards, but
that place in Etowah County, we all know what
they were wonderful as far as to support me, and they did the first sonogram. And part of their mission is to help a teen mom decide.
So they gave you referrals, maybe?
They started with trying to engage Madison, or Maddie. Her name is Madison, but she likes to go by Maddie. Classes where she could get points. She was so sick. That was not a reality for her. She was extremely sick during her pregnancy. She stayed in bed, I would say, at least probably half of the pregnancy. So I had to really work with her.
And that's a lot to deal with, and we're going to get a little bit more about that thought. Okay, so we're going to go take a short break for a word from our supporters. You're watching WEAC TV 24 Rise and Shine with the Alabama Cures program. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
I want to live. The leading cause of death of young Americans like me is gun violence, and oftentimes tied to substance misuse. NBA, NFL, NCAA, most of you look like me, and our communities need you now more than ever. Let's make I Want to Live more than just a hashtag. Let's make it a movement. I am a baller against bullets.
I'm Alan Parnell with Parnell Insurance Agency. We've been here in Oxford and Alabama, Tallapoosa, Georgia since 1990. With Auto Owners Insurance, we're able to give customers competitive pricing along with excellent coverages. Parnell Insurance can handle all of your personal, commercial, and life insurance needs. We have a very experienced staff, both personal and commercial. All together, we've got about 125 years experience. Come see what our insurance agency can do for you in Oxford, Alabama, and Tallapoosa, Georgia.
Auto Owners Insurance.
Hey guys, this is Blair Smith at Pediatrics Plus here in Anniston, located on Henry Road. I'm over here on the well side, but we do also have a sick side urgent care if you need us. We are more than happy to see you guys. Just come on, check us out if you get a fever, cough, or cold, or want to come in for a good checkup. Thank you.
Backus Bibles and Books is dedicated to providing churches as well as individuals with products and services geared towards strengthening every relationship with Christ. We specialize in Bibles, Bible imprints, Bible restoration, church supplies, home decor, gifts, and apparel. Call us at 256-201-1202 or visit us Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 1100 Highway Drive in Oxford, Alabama. We look forward to serving you, equipping the people of God to expand the kingdom of God.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching Rise and Shine with the Alabama Cares program. I'm Ellen, and I'm sitting here with Miss LaChelle, who is with the House of Grace, and we're talking about something else that everybody don't want to talk about. You know, and that's why I love this show, because we're talking about things that nobody wants to talk about, because I believe that in order to have a wonderful community and for everybody to come together and for everybody to thrive, you have to talk about those tough issues. And so we were talking a little bit about it being such a taboo subject, you know, within the religious community, and how that's like for not only the parents of that child, but the child who's pregnant and what all it entails, because my gosh, they're already going through all these changes, and emotionally, mentally, they're not like their other peers anymore. So tell us a little bit more about that. I mean,
so as we were going through this in our home, I was watching Maddie become a person right before my eyes that was showing compassion toward a human forming in her body, instead of, oh, we're just compassionate about going out on a weekend, or we're compassionate about our hair, or passionate, not compassionate, but
about the things that all teenagers worry about,
all teenagers worry about. So by the time that Paisley was born, I even made the comment that her maturity in a lot of ways is so different than her peers by this time. But
because they have to grow up.
They have to grow up.
Yeah,
some choose not to, and you know, that's something that I don't want to force on anyone. I just want to extend grace, which is why, us talking about the taboo subject, I had sponsors that sponsored my tuition to get a certificate in Christian counseling. I will not be charging for it. I just want to pull in that the Lord can be the center of all of the center, not center, but center of all of our conditions, whether it be a mental health, physical, pregnancy, anything that is considered a taboo subject.
And two, what it and it's just kind of like, I mean, it's not the same, but it's kind of the same. I go back to, like, you know, alcohol and drug counseling. You don't want your drug and alcohol counselors to, I mean, if they've never done drugs or alcohol, they're not really a really good, I mean, you know what I mean? The best counselors to me are the ones that have been there, done that, right? So what a testament, a testimony that your daughter, your granddaughter can be to other families and other girls who are going through this, and not only that, for her to maybe even talk to audiences that, you know, are sexually active but they haven't got pregnant, you know, and that she doesn't regret that child. I'm not saying that, but you know, there are consequences of your choices, and the consequences is, you know, the one that I see is you have to grow up fast. Not the fact that you have a child, because that child is a wonderful being that God created, and you're taking care of it, and you don't regret that because you love her. But at the same time, you're not going to be able to worry about all the other things that teenagers are worried about, because now you're worried about diapers and bottles, and if they're sick, and now you're going to have to worry about daycare, and you're going to, I mean, all these other things, because you're a mom. And you know, and I know, because this has hit home, guys, to some people that I know, some friends of mine's kids, even in my family, I had somebody, and I remember that, you know, one of the things was, you know, you can't go out whenever you want to anymore. This is your responsibility. You had this child. This is your responsibility, not mine. Now, I'm here to help you. But if you want to go out, that's not an excuse for you to leave your baby with somebody. You know, that kind of thing. So I think that the role of faith in shaping the vision of this ministry is huge.
I think so too.
I mean, it's huge, bigger than you think. And what are your long-term goals and partnerships, you think?
That's a loaded question with me, because I have thought about going and trying a partnership with DHR at some point, and maybe being a part of a safety plan. not necessarily in place of foster care or in lieu of social services support or anything like that, but being a part of the team. Additional resource.
Because it doesn't hurt to have, because the more players you have, I mean, I feel it too, and just like the old saying, a kid can never have too many people that love them.
Right, exactly.
Kind of thing. Right. So to help.
Both kids, mom,
mom and the kid,
the mom is still usually, considered a child by a lot of the legal standards, which is another issue, because when they are pregnant with the baby, they have certain rights, and then once they have a baby, some of those rights are gone once they have a baby, but they have a right over their child. So it's a very
There's thin lines in there.
There's thin lines, and it's a big topic, and an hour to just sit and pour out everything.
And too, that people were saying, oh, well, I don't need to come talk to you because it's not happening. It's not. I mean, let's talk teen sex statistics here. Because I work with juveniles. It's already happening.
It is.
It's already happening. There's nothing, I mean, they can tell you all day long whatever they want their parent to hear, right?
Right.
So it's already happened.
Right.
So you're dealing with this new life the teenager has brought into this world,
Right.
and as well as the emotional roller coaster of the teenage mom and dad. So the teen statistics, I know that we have statistics somewhere.
We do. And they're from the state of Alabama, I believe.
Okay, so the teen sexual activity in Alabama, and the birth rates too.
And then I think I did a comparison chart. Alabama is considerably higher when compared to other states in the United States.
Yes, there's the
yes,
the birth rates. Yeah, so the national average versus Alabama. Look at that. Wow. And then, like you said too, the teen sexual activity in Alabama is 1 in 3 high school students are currently sexually active. I mean, that's a big statistic. 15% of teens have had 4 or more sexual partners. Wow.
Yes.
20% of teens use alcohol or drugs before last sex. 7% of students first had sex before age of 13. I mean, my gosh, when I was 12 and 13, I still thought boys had cooties.
Right.
So, yeah, so things have changed.
Things have changed.
And evolved and things. So, like, we were talking about the emotional roller coaster that the teenage mom and dad are on, and so they're already, like you said, because of the statistics you had, those were great. So I know the audience wants to know too. I know that you cater to the moms, but how about those dads?
Right.
Like, how about the dads that, that young kid that says, you know what, I made that baby, I'm going to be in that baby's life. Do you cater to them as well?
We have on a small basis. I mean, we're building.
Maybe that'd be like a long-term goal to where you can have a male
I have
Christian
already,
counselor.
Yes, my partner, she is one of the admins, and she's a licensed independent social worker. She has partnered with me on Facebook. She's one of the admins of that. And then on my personal posts, I have 2 people that look at my post, and then I said, just tap me on the shoulder if something doesn't feel like it's going to set right. But so the men, I have actually had Paisley's dad sit and participate in more than one of the sessions by his own choice.
Well, that's wonderful.
It is. Yes. It is wonderful. And I told my friend and partnership that's in with this, I told her, I said, somebody may donate a home sometime. We don't know. The God is not limited by what we see right now.
And I had a guest on my show a while back who is in ministry, and he does a mentor program for young men. That's somebody that you might need to, I'll need to give you his name too, because he's really good too. DeMarco is his name. He's really good. So,
and the truth to that also is that the boys may start to feel the financial burden, and maybe their focus is on trying to get out of school or obtaining a GED
or a scholarship to go play football,
and while working, and the time constraint for the males seems to be a little bit more of an issue than the moms. The moms are invited and welcome to come in whether they have brushed their hair or not.
Right.
Well, what I'm seeing with the dads, some of them are running. Some of them are not wanting to accept the responsibility, so then I kind of step in, because then we're dealing with a wounded and betrayal kind of issue with the mom. But if the father chooses to stay, I definitely am looking for resources and have resourced a few out. The Pregnancy Center in Etowah County has a male there.
So are you just are you focused on Calhoun and Etowah? Is that what your focus is?
So I'm not Primarily, I'm focused on whomever the Lord sends. I just had a person reach out to me through Facebook in South Carolina.
Oh,
and
wow.
we planned.
That's awesome.
She herself was a teen mom, and she saw our ministry on Facebook, and she said, "I'm so excited." I asked her where she was located, found out, and so we plan to do a Zoom meeting on how she can take something like.
Great, because technology, I mean, that's a wonderful way to use technology.
Yes.
So you could reach anybody.
Yes.
So in our show, I mean, you can, if you guys miss any of this show, make sure that you go back to Roku, Fire Stick, Facebook, all the things. Did I say Apple, Fire Stick, Roku, all that? So, you know, if you're anywhere in the state of Alabama watching this or part of Georgia, you can still get in touch with her and still talk to her and everything.
Yes.
So besides Bible study, just right quick before we go to break, what do you offer as far as mentoring, parenting, life skills workshops, all that kind of
Well,
stuff?
so the children come. They attend. We do not separate the children from the mother. Now, I have people there that will help provide we have a spiritual mother program and a spiritual sister program. And so they are offering to step in. That baby may need a diapering. That baby may need a snack while there's ministry going on.
Right.
We're offering online. We're doing little snippets online. I have got a group formed through text messaging that every morning someone sends out an encouragement text to the mom. We have outreach. We're outreaching from the community. If someone wants to help sponsor any type,
That's some of the things that you do.
Yes. So the emotional support, practical help, which is going back to the diapering and the baby may need a snack, and it's hard as a mother to sit there and focus when your child has a need. So that's why we have the spiritual mothers and spiritual sisters. We offer prayer. We have gentle encouragement throughout our home. We have Bible verses. I have a box that has encouragement that's biblical based. I have my 94-year-old grandmother is still alive.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I've had the blessing and the privilege of her writing some testimonies and some just little short positive statements that's more Christ-centered. But she put herself back as that she was a teen mom. But back years ago, when she was in her 90s, you know, teen marriages were pretty common. But she put
Yeah, because
herself.
they got married early back then.
Yes, they did. So she put herself back into that of the challenges she faced, and oddly enough, some of the same challenges, those 3 a.m. feedings when you're so tired, you can't even remember really the last
And
bottle.
I'm sure she could like tell everybody about, you know, how that is.
Yes.
And so hold that thought.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we got to go to another break. I know this is so good. So we're going to take another short break for a word from our sponsors. And so you're watching WEAC TV 24 Rise and Shine with the Alabama Cares program. We'll be right back.
The weather is warming up and spring is just around the corner at Miller Sand and Landscape Supply. I'm Craig Miller, and we've got something for everyone. From bulk materials like sand, gravel, and mulch to beautiful outdoor decor to make your outdoor living space the envy of the neighborhood. See our beautiful selection of Mazzarelli fountains, flowers to brighten your garden, and an outdoor center loaded with beautiful decor. Whether you need a little or a lot, visit Miller Sand and Landscape Supply.
Hey, this is Jason at Reeves Insurance. Just want to say a quick thank you to all of our customers for your support over the years. We now have offices in Anniston, Alexandria, and Oxford in order to serve you better. So stop in and see me or any of our experienced staff and let us shop for you to find you the best price and the best coverage available. Thank you.
The Civilian Marksmanship Program, also known as CMP, is a national organization dedicated to training and educating U.S. citizens in responsible uses of firearms and air guns through gun safety training, marksmanship training, and competitions. Their vision is to lead the nation in marksmanship excellence, providing safe, high-quality, and innovative programs with a focus on youth. For more information about the CMP and upcoming events, visit thecmp.org.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching Rise and Shine with the Alabama Cares program. I'm Ellen Tibbetts-Hurst, and I'm sitting here with Miss LaChelle, and we're talking about the House of Grace. And if you missed the first part of this show, please go back and watch it. This is really good information because, hey, it touches a lot of people. And if it didn't touch you individually within your family, you know someone at school, someone at church, someone down the road, somebody.
Right.
So we're talking about young mothers that are teenagers usually that have babies.
Right.
And the whole House of Grace, your ministry and your I guess not an agency, but just what would you call it?
Well, what I like to just call my house right now is just House of Grace, because it's a place that they can come.
Yeah, just a place that they can come. And we were talking about that you have all of these things like mentoring, parenting,
right.
life skills workshops, which I think is
Right.
fantastic, because let's face it too, a lot of times, because I've seen this working with children myself, a lot of times they do not have any life skills themselves because their parents
Right.
didn't have any life skills.
Right.
The parents,
Uh-oh.
so the parents couldn't teach them
The
any life skills.
generational, yes.
It's generational.
Yes.
So with that being said, I think it's fantastic that if you can have life skill workshops in place. That's why you need to talk to DeMarco. He's he's with the mentoring program. It'd be perfect fit.
Thank you.
Because that's his goal too,
Right.
is to give people life skills and
Right.
everything. And I think when you have life skills, I mean, whether you're a mom or dad or not, it just makes life easier.
It does. It does.
And so when you have all this, you said they're being held at your home. And what are some special ministry efforts that you have? Because I know that you have something called Baby Blessings
Yes.
and Mother Recognition events
right.
and counselor
So-
support, community referrals, all that kind of stuff.
So I'd like to have a form of accountability. So after each Bible study, which I don't lead the Bible studies, I have led one, but I typically don't lead them.
Okay.
I do not mind leading them, but I have someone that is she knows the Bible really well, so she can pull in things at the spur of the moment. And
look at that.
Yeah, that's actually one of our small group and Bible studies. And there's on the ceiling that's about Mary being the first unwed mom, in a sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. I did have to, because we're dealing with minors, I did kind of edit out the identities.
Right.
That's a
Only
sensitive.
fair.
Yeah,
That's only fair.
Yes. So we have resources. We're in a Bible study there. It's a 52 weeks Bible study. You see the different resources. I think in the background you can see that there's baby resources in my home. I have a couple of high chairs in case we move to the kitchen. In that, after each Bible study, the child has an accountability form, and they have a folder. And in that folder, they can choose to make it private by writing private on the outside, and we do not view it, or they can just decorate it. Not one of them has chosen to make it private, which in itself almost made me tear up, because sometimes...
Well, that's just obvious that they're needing that, and they're wanting to
Yes.
talk to someone and reach out to
Yes.
someone, because they may not have that. They're not afforded that. I guess feeling at ease at home by
Right.
talking about it.
Right, and the voice.
Yeah.
A voice is someone that just will listen, because as I said earlier, at the beginning it feels like everybody shrinks back, and then you have different motives for becoming involved. And as we went along, and really when House of Grace started, several of the community members that I admire and respect reached out and said, hey, I was a teen mom and I had no idea. So at first the support is not generally there. You're just,
Right.
it's a
Just,
shock.
I think a long time ago too, I think it was very well. I know that when you and I were in high school, it happened a lot, but it was hidden very
It
well.
was hidden very well.
You know, so, and statistics-wise, such as number of moms, like, do you know how many moms you've reached so far? And
Well, for the accountability purposes, we have 5 that we're working with. Not all of them can come into the home. We have 2 that consistently come in the home. And after they've attended their 4th meeting, I was doing it as a consistent basis, but as we're getting into the cold and flu season, I may not do that just as long as the 4th one's completed. They receive a gift card. The first gift card I got to give was to Starbucks. And a local church has reached out to me and wants to offer gift cards to Ulta, to, she said, maybe getting, she said Ulta, she said Starbucks, maybe some food gift cards, because as a mom, the pregnancy cravings are still real and different maybe, and not always affordable.
so you're looking for donations
we
and
can
everything.
we can have donations. We're in the formation of a nonprofit. We are recognized with the state, and we have the federal EIN. And what we're doing now is I've got a team of people that's helping us convert to go to nonprofit. So if the donation is right now, it's not tax deductible, but it's still a donation that we hold accountable. I have someone I know that I've known for over 20 years that's going to be over the financial aspect of it to watch and make sure the funds are handled appropriately.
And so if somebody wanted to get in touch with you again, or someone is interested, how do they go about reaching out to participate in these programs? Because I know that we have your phone number and your, there it is.
Oh, okay, yes. So yes, that's my phone number for House of Grace. When I tried the prompt, you do have to leave your name, and you most of the time leave a message. The ministry online, the organization, it's the houseofgraceministries.org. There it has a tab link that you can send as a personal message. But Ellen, what we're trying to do right now, and we just I didn't pay for it. I had a sponsor pay for a whole year. They're going to set up a portal similar to the way that a lot of the pediatric offices, the pediatricians are offering, that you can go in a portal and ask a quick question.
Oh, that
now,
would be
we're not
great.
giving medical advice or...
Yeah, because you're not doctors.
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
But you can give that emotional support.
We can,
and you can give out resources.
Yes, because we have our meeting once a week, and let's be honest, a young mom's needs can be in the middle of the night.
Yes.
So if they can just say, hey, I've asked a question and I'm waiting, and I got that idea from watching Maddie reach out to her pediatrician as a new young mom. She had a lot of questions, and so she would reach out through the patient portal, and her doctor would respond back very quickly within, I would say, within 24 hours.
Because it's easier for them to go through that.
It is so much easier.
Yes.
So just today, that was paid for a whole year.
That is fantastic. Well, thank you to that donor.
Yes,
So you're wanting, the community can help. So if you're wanting to help for donations,
right.
Do you want any volunteers maybe? Or partnerships, that kind of thing?
Right. So the way that someone can help us right now is by donations, by sending us young mothers. I'm not opposed to the mother or a dad attending. I have to be very careful because we have minors.
Right.
I do have, you were asking earlier about the vision, I do have paperwork so that we can run background checks. I have training workshop information so that when we do grow and expand, we'll have all that in place that we need to do that's so important when we're talking about minors.
Right.
You don't just open the door to anyone at that time of when they're in a very vulnerable stage.
Right.
So we need to run background checks
I agree.
on people that
and business sponsorships. I'm just going to throw
Yes.
this out to you guys out there. This is a huge way that you can help people in our community. This is real life.
It is real.
And have you, speaking of real life and business partnerships, just have you reached out to the social work department at JSU?
I have not.
I might can hook you up on that.
Okay, that'd be great.
The reason why I asked was because they would be really good to volunteer, because these are kids that are getting their social work degrees,
Right.
Eventually going into counseling or whatever. Or so I think this would be really good, real life.
Right.
Situations and one-on-one, hands-on,
Right.
that and they would be passionate about
Right.
it too. It
That's-
would fit their
right.
what they're going to school for. So that's just a thought.
That would be wonderful. And that would kind of fit what we call a spiritual sister.
Right.
The difference between a spiritual mom and a spiritual sister is the mom provides wisdom and guidance from a different perspective than a spiritual sister says, hey, I'm here with you. We're going to walk through this hand in hand. I call it walking in the trenches.
Yes.
You know, you can text me any time of the night.
Right.
Sometimes a spiritual mother is an older, more mature person that can't be as active in participating. So
Right. And so the spiritual sister wouldn't necessarily have to be a teenage mom.
No.
I can see that because,
Yeah.
especially and that's why I think maybe, hey, if you're a JSU student, just let you know out there, because I think that would be great, because if they're in college and everything, you know, they could encourage that mom and say, just because you're a mom doesn't mean you can go back to school. You can't do this. You can't, be their cheerleader.
Yes, that's the spiritual sister,
Yes,
exactly.
be their cheerleader.
So many moms, teenage moms, they feel like their life has ended, and they will take all their energy or most of their energy and focus on the baby. And while that is fine, our energy needs to be on the baby. However, they don't need to forget their own education, because how can they help with future
Right.
needs if they only have...
Because you have to make a life for that baby and for you.
Right. And working with generational issues, as we talked about earlier. A lot of times that's all they know. We'll just go ahead and stay on government care, and there's nothing wrong with government care. I'm not knocking that, but if they want better.
But it looks like it's on its way out, just saying.
Yeah, it does. And we talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why
it's getting to where it's all gearing toward family should take care of
Yes,
family.
yes, it is.
Churches should take care of their
Yes.
church family, all these things. So
Yes.
just to let you know.
And that's what is pointed
Be
out.
self-sustaining.
Right. And that's what's pointing out at the beginning of the Christian counseling certificate, is back years ago, before the 19th century, that was taken care around the dinner table. But as society had more needs that families didn't know how to address, they
Right.
started around the 19th to 20th century, started pulling in a lot of this research based. And that's what we need as well. It's a combination of spiritual and research-based guided practices with the youth is what, and the young moms, wed or unwed, what we want. And
Right.
want to say again, if a student would like to become involved from JSU, I understand that they have background checks as
Yes,
well.
they do.
So see, that would take some liability off of
you.
us
Right.
having a home and a safe place
Right.
for that.
Gosh, this is a lot. We're almost done with the show.
Okay,
It doesn't seem like, I mean, you guys got to go back and watch it, and encourage everybody to watch it. Even though you don't catch it live right now, make sure that you go back to Roku, Fire Stick, Apple,
YouTube.
Facebook. We're on Facebook on WEAC TV 24 too.
And YouTube, is there?
Yes, there's a YouTube as well. So with that being said, just hold that thought. We're going to take another break for a word from our supporters, and you're watching WEAC TV 24 Rise and Shine with the Alabama Cares program. We'll be right back.
On average, a tow truck operator is killed every 6 days in the United States. A tragic, yet preventable event. The fact is, most people don't know what it's like being a tow truck operator. The dangers that occur while servicing a roadside vehicle are real. However, you can make a difference to help lower this statistic and save lives by simply slowing down and moving over. This simple task can prevent an unnecessary death and allow workers to make it home to the families waiting for them. After all, it's the law in all 50 states, for good reason. Do your part so they can live another day and be there for you when you need them. Move over. Their lives don't belong to you.
Backus Bibles and Books is dedicated to providing churches as well as individuals with products and services geared towards strengthening every relationship with Christ. We specialize in Bibles, Bible imprints, Bible restoration, church supplies, home decor, gifts, and apparel. Call us at 256-201-1202 or visit us Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 1100 Highway Drive in Oxford, Alabama. We look forward to serving you, equipping the people of God to expand the kingdom of God.
I want to live. The leading cause of death of young Americans like me is gun violence, and oftentimes tied to substance misuse. NBA, NFL, NCAA, most of you look like me, and our communities need you now more than ever. Let's make I want to live more than just a hashtag. Let's make it a movement. I am a baller against bullets.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching WEAC TV, Rise and Shine with Alabama Cures program. I'm sitting here with Miss LaChelle with the House of Grace. And LaChelle, it's Friday. So we always do a Friday dance, is what we say. So it's Friday, it's Friday. Yay, she did it, she did it. Good sport, good sport. So we're talking all things about the young mothers that end up getting pregnant. That's not planned, unplanned. Right. And so what do you say to parents of those mothers or fathers that are faced with their teenager being pregnant? I mean, what encouraging words do you have for them?
Right. What is very, I guess, impressing on my heart is that they are not alone to reach out. If it's not to us through House of Grace, find someone that they can talk with, because we look at it from a single perspective or maybe a double perspective, how it affects the mom or the dad's life and our child is changing. Someone that is working with this every day can present so many more perspectives.
Yes.
And a glimmer of hope.
Right.
And the reason I love ours is because the glimmer of hope is Christ-centered. And to me, if you've got that first and foremost, it's easier to work with a lot of other issues.
And I'm a huge advocate for support groups because of what I do for a living. I mean, I'm the director of the Alabama Cures program, and so I work with family caregivers. And just like my family caregivers, these dynamics with this family that is faced with a teenage pregnancy, you know, I tell my caregivers, I'm like, well, when you leave, you know, and the person they're taking care of could have anything, cancer, heart, strokes, you know, but I'll just use dementia or Alzheimer's as an example. You know, I'll tell my caregivers, hey, when you left the doctor's office and they told you your loved one had dementia or Alzheimer's, did they give you a guidebook or did they give you something to go by, or did they, and they're like, no, and they're lost.
Right.
They have no clue. And that's with anything.
That's
I think
that
anybody has to face in life, especially with these parents and everything. And so I'm a huge advocate of having that support, because like I said, what other support is, the best support is coming from someone that's been there, done that.
Right.
Because they're speaking from their heart,
Right.
they know.
Right.
And then to have the spiritual part of it, to be in there, because we're in, I mean, there's churches on every corner,
Right.
you know, I mean, we should all come together. It takes a village.
Right.
And I think we should all come together and embrace this and embrace these families and say,
Right.
you know what, it's okay. We're going to deal with this. It's going to be okay.
Right. And you made an important point about the churches being on every corner. We do not have one specific denomination working with us.
Right.
We have had so many different churches to become involved just in the month, because it's not limited to one religion or one race, or it's, you know, this,
It's all.
it is.
Because you're all God's people,
Yes,
right?
yes,
That's
right.
right. That's right. And as my mama used to say, my mom was Catholic, my dad was Southern Baptist.
Right.
And my mom's from Europe. So, but my mom used to tell me all the time, well, God is so big, there's just like different churches and they just all worship him differently. You know, I remember that as a little girl. But what encouraging words do you have for the young mom?
That's the tough one, because I really have to see them where they're at. When I've been working with them, some of the older teen moms are beginning to try to go into the field to work because maybe they're realizing the support is not, the money's not going to be enough. So that support and encouragement might look a little different at first than if someone is 14, 15 and becoming pregnant, and what do we do? How do we go? How do we tell mom? How do we tell dad? If I'm working with someone 18 or so, you know,
all the dynamics are different.
Yes. So I don't have a one-size-fits-all type.
But just
statement.
to encourage them and tell them that they're loved,
Yes.
and that we're going to be
the glimmer of hope.
We're going to get through this.
Yes, and I just say I'll walk in the trenches with you.
Yes.
And that's, if I had
I'll hold your hand.
If I had one statement that I say to most, is that statement, that I will walk in the trenches with you.
And that's wonderful.
I don't want them to feel
I need
alone.
you to come to one of our monthly community health series events.
Okay.
I told you about that earlier.
Yes.
So, and speaking of which,
Love to.
it's the end of August. Can you believe
I
this?
know.
I mean,
Time
wow.
is-
We have the community health series event that happens every month with a different subject every month. So this month we had fraud, scams, and identity theft. And this month, the September actually, will be Healthy Aging Month. There it is. And we have it's going to be from 10 to 12 at the Oxford Civic Center. We will have health checks of all types, glucose and blood pressure checks, hearing and vision, possible flu shots, and cardiac and stroke screenings. I'm working on that. Plus, we will have an awesome speaker, Dr. Carol Parks. She is the medical doctor and director of the Oxford Health Authority. And guys, where else can you go without an appointment, a copay, or a consult fee? And where can you ask questions for free? We will have vendors set up there. Hopefully, you'll be one of those. And we have door prizes, free door prizes. So please make sure to tell everyone about these events. They're so great. Make sure that if you missed the show, please go back on YouTube, Apple, Roku, Fire Stick, all the things, and please share it because we try to bring you all the resources and education we can to help us all have a better, safer, and healthier community from wherever you may be watching. So, LaChelle, we were talking earlier about, y'all, can you believe that football season is here already? I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, my gosh, it's so hot in the South. They should like move it up to November. This is just too hot. But we're all excited about it. I know Jack State, just played last night. So with that said, you said you just finished something, which I think is fabulous, but you didn't finish it in time. And that's okay for us to have a graphic of it, but I want you to go over that because I think this is really cool. She has like a play-by-play thing that's like according to a football, like a football team.
So forgive me too if I have to read from my notes because you're talking about the health, coming at the health fair. I have an unseen disability. I have a rare autoimmune disease, so I have to have a lot of teen participants. And sponsoring a health fair, you were talking about the co-pays and deductibles and how expensive that can be. What a tremendous help that's going to be for the community.
Yeah, people can come to our events for free.
That's so wonderful. So what I did was I tried to look at the House of Grace Ministries as far as like a football game and preparation coming up, and the head coach of ours is God and Jesus as the foundation because he's going to set the ministry and the guidelines. Then the quarterback is the founder and our leaders. I was the founder, so it's kind of, I sit back a lot of times and pray. So when I say and pray.
Like some quarterbacks do anyway.
Right. So when I say and pray, I mean, sometimes that's the most powerful thing, but with my health, I have to be very careful. And I have learned, because I've battled this health position and disability for years, that I can kind of see signs when my body is starting to say slow down.
Where you have to pitch that ball to somebody else and let them take it.
Be the running back, exactly. So we have the offensive line, which is the families, the encouragers, the builders. These will be the ones that will run with it. And running backs and the receivers are the mothers and the families. They are receiving resources. They will help build that child and that child's child toward hopefully victory in life instead of we're defeated.
Right.
No, we want to be victorious.
We'll be a team. We're going to win.
Yes. And then our defense is prayer and prayer warriors and supporters, accountability. really emphasizing accountability from all levels.
Yeah, from the grandmother to be,
Yes.
to the father to
Yes.
be, to the, to all of them.
So then the field is life itself, with all the challenges and opportunities, every yard gained to grow, healing and new beginnings for anyone touched by our ministry. The opponent, and we talked about this, it could be poverty, generational issues, shame, which we didn't even have a chance to go into the shame part, but that's a whole ministry in itself. The brokenness, fears, the lies from the enemy. The playbook is our Bible and ministry resources. We have several avenues. We just had someone ask about buying Bibles for the teens, and they're going to buy in the print that they can understand.
Is that not just genius that she came up with this? I just think, right here at football season, I think that's just so fabulous.
Well, we can thank the Lord, because I run on like half. I feel like I didn't even have it finished in time for the deadline. But so the goal line is transformation. It's helping mothers and families not to just survive, but to live through Christ, to allow this new coming child or the child just born to have a future, to accept it, and then also to help that child to thrive.
And that's the touchdown.
Yes, and then that is the touchdown, exactly. And then the fans that are in the stands and supporting, that's where I need the community and supporters cheering, praying, donating, encouraging. Donations would be really big, whether it be a gift card, a box of diapers. We're going to have baby blessing box that's going to reach male and female, all like up to a year, and we'll sort of like the Christmas boxes that go overseas. It'll be the baby boxes that go to our the children. We have a mother's blessing that'll be coming up after the mother completes a year of the program. It's going to be a big ceremony. So we have a lot of things in store, and maybe in a year we could come back and
tell us all the great stories about it.
That would be wonderful.
This is fabulous. So we want to put up again your information, your phone number, and your email. There it is, to make sure that you contact Miss LaChelle for House of Grace for all the information that you may need. If you know someone, please share this information, because this is fantastic. This is so fantastic, and I appreciate you so much coming on today.
Thank you.
And like I said, I appreciate your courage to start this, because like I said, this is a taboo subject for a lot of people, and it happens. I don't know why it should be taboo. I mean, it's, have you noticed that every time you really talk about something and you get talking about it, that it's not taboo anymore, and changes start happening and things start happening? I mean, look at breast cancer. Look at all these things that used to be taboo to talk about. Then we had a group of women go march on the Washington's doorstep that says mammograms should be free, right? And look how far breast cancer research and everything has come. So, just little things like that. And I think that if you don't talk about it, then it just sits there and nothing gets done.
The statistics that we looked at earlier, where there was so few teens that were under the influence of alcohol and drugs, I can't help but wonder if that's because of the effectiveness of drug awareness programs in the school. But I was also kind of shocked that there wasn't more reported being under the influence. And I'm like, well, this is why this ministry needs to exist, because we're not talking about it enough.
We're not talking about any of these things, right?
But we are drugs and alcohol in the school. So the statistics kind of followed along with what you're just saying, the need for us to talk about subjects that are hard to hear and hard to talk about sometimes.
And thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And thank you guys for watching. Make sure to go back, like I said, and share and everything. And please join us next week at the same time, same place. I will sit down with a doctor next week. I'm Dr. Gattell. I think I pronounced his name right. He's a spine specialist, and he will talk to us everything to do about the spine and how everything is connected to the spine, and tips and symptoms and all the things. So, lots of things to talk about there, and don't forget, like I said, football season kicked off, and I hope you enjoy rooting on your teams. You can root on LaChelle's team too by donating and being a fan of them. So make sure that you do that too. And I just appreciate you so much for sharing and opening your heart. And and like I said, I think it's very admirable of you to, be in the open, because it makes you vulnerable. I mean, your child was young when she had a baby, and I know that was shocking to you and your system, and that wasn't a plan. That was not in your that was not in your game book.
It was not in my game
plan book. So. But I think it takes a big person to say, this is this is what's going on, and we're going to grab the bull by the horns, and we're just going to deal with it. That's the way you have to do with everything.
Well, I brought you a shirt that's House of Grace, but I kind of wanted to enclose on the back. It's just a place where we can go and lay it down, where God's grace is sufficient.
Oh, well, I will wear that with pride. Thank you so very much.
And thank you for having me
Thank
on.
you. Oh, wasn't that sweet? I can't wait to wear it. Thank you. Any last words that you would like to say?
I just want to thank you. I want to thank the community. I want to thank my Lord and Savior that gave me the courage to come and speak. I don't feel like public speaking is one of my...
Oh, I think you've done a fabulous job.
I don't feel like I do great at it at all. In fact, I'd rather be the cheerleader going, yes, you've got this, you can do it, on the sidelines. But he gave me the vision months ago, and every step how do I go about putting it in my home? What are the safe plans?
Well, I appreciate you doing that, and you taking the time to do that. And we are so glad that you came. And unfortunately, we're at the end, so we will have to go, but we will see you next time. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next week. And I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe weekend.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.